So we have breaking news on the story we brought you at the top of this hour. The Manhattan District Attorney is asking Judge Merchan whether the gag order imposed on Trump does apply to family members of the judge and the prosecutor. All of this in response to Trump's repeated attacks against the daughter of Judge Juan Merchan.
The DA's office is not asking for an expansion of a gag order or a new gag order, but instead asking Judge Merchan to clarify or confirm that his daughter and the family members of the district attorney are themselves covered. We earlier in this hour covered that then former President Trump's lawyers have responded today saying that that's inappropriate, that other outlets have reported that they aren't covered, and they drop a footnote referencing reporting by the Associated Press and Reuters. But they say in the event that Judge Merchan is considering making his daughter subject to this gag order, full briefing is necessary because of the implications for former President Trump's First Amendment rights. And then they take a swipe at Judge Merchan's daughter, who is, as I understand it, well into her 30s, is a leader of a digital strategy firm employed both by political campaigns and nonprofits. And they say because she is engaged in providing support to the enemies of former President Trump, it is totally appropriate for him to talk about her. Certainly, we are waiting for the judge to have some word here, but this is already hotly contested between the two sides. I just want to say one thing about the judge's daughter, because Nicole, like you, I too am a parent, and I'm outraged that a defendant of any kind would go after a member of the judiciary's family member, but it's particularly pernicious, whereas here the family member is a grown person in her own right. Whatever you might think about Judge Merchan's daughter, her father is no more responsible for her career choices or her clients than my father, who's a retired school principal and administrator, is for mine. And I particularly find it offensive that we're talking about a grown woman who should have agency to live her life on her own terms, but instead is being subjected to attacks by the former president of the United States using the largest megaphone in the land, second only to the incumbent president, perhaps.
Again, over to the voters. Is this who you want? Someone who's going to threaten the safety and security of the daughter, adult daughter, of someone who he's before?
Well, he's a thug. I mean, he's a bully and a thug, and you have to stand up to a bully. I mean, I am someone who actually believes that the voters are going to have the most powerful say here in November. I think that's really important, to issue a vote of no confidence, no interest in Trump and Trumpism. At the same time, it's this behavior that is the exact reason why I think it's so important to hold Donald Trump accountable. You know, there are some people who have said that this case in Manhattan is maybe not as serious as some others, and that's, in some ways, that might be true. In other ways, he's operating with the same kind of impunity that we have seen all along, and that is unacceptable. He cannot be above the law. You cannot have a president sitting in the Oval Office who's above the law. So he should be held accountable.
Right.
I think that when you look at the fact that the absurdity that someone would be responsible for their 30-year-old daughter, and that their daughter would even be mentioned. I have two daughters in their 30s. They have nothing to do with what I do in terms of a decision. They both are activists. But, I mean, it's just absurd. It shows how callous and low this man will go. There's nothing off limits to him. Not only is he a thug, he is a thug that has no boundaries. I mean,
well, and with the guilty conscience, he must think he's really screwed in this case if he's acting so crazy.
The one that is not convinced this is an insignificant case is Donald Trump, because he would not be throwing all of these accusations out if he was not convinced that this could be serious. And they can say all they want, it doesn't matter. They say, all y'all need is one jury to hang it. All you need is one conviction to make him a felon. And he understands that one felony puts him out of business, not only in the White House, it will impact the business that he hopes to rebuild after he finishes getting rid of all of the civil cases he had. He knows that if he sits in that courtroom and listens to people get on that stand in his face and testifies, that he's got a problem.
If it makes you feel any better, I have already put evac on alert. He's ready to go if it comes to that. General, I can assure him.
Hey, General, let me into the war room to see you, so I had to hack my way onto this frequency.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
So, come on,